Zephram, what if I told you that there was a movie, much like National Treasure, right? Very adventure-based, searching for historic items, that features Matthew McConaughey and Steve Zahn and William H. Macy and Rainn Williams. Rainn Wilson.
What would I say if you told me that?
Yeah.
I would say that's a weird coincidence because I love everything you just mentioned.
Yeah, and I would also say what a weird coincidence because today we're talking about Sahara.
Oh, well, that is a weird coincidence.
Welcome back, everybody, to Not Qualified. I'm Joe.
Thanks, Joe. I'm Zeph.
Hey, thanks.
Nope, you're welcome is what you're supposed to say.
Oh, thanks. Today we're talking about the movie Sahara. To talk about the movie a little bit.
All right, so Sahara, if you haven't seen it, then you're a loser. So get on it.
Yeah, for real.
If I ever see you in public and you haven't seen Sahara, then I will berate you in front of strangers. Because Sahara's rad. It's rad as heck. So in my brain, Joe, there's a little trilogy of movies that are unrelated entirely.
Yeah, I know what movies you're talking about.
Actually, it's a quadrilogy because there's four of them.
We've had this conversation, yeah.
And they're movies that I watched on DVD thousands of times as a child. Mm-hmm. Over and over and over and over.
Same.
And they all were kind of the same because they were all knockoffs of Indiana Jones.
Yeah. And they all feel yellow.
They all feel yellow in color. The DVD cases were all yellow. And they are so fun. Yeah. They're all fun. Okay, so obviously Raiders of the Lost Ark is what started this all.
Yeah.
Right? And then in the 90s and 2000s, they thought, hey, let's try to just make adventure movies like Indiana Jones and, replace all the elements with other things, but keep the core the same.
Yeah.
And they made those movies. A bunch of different people did. Mm-hmm. And they were all cool. So here, well, not all of them, but I'll tell you the three I'm thinking of. So we had this, to kick this all off, is The Mummy. 1999, Brendan Fraser. Freaking cool movie.
Yes.
The Mummy is awesome.
And subsequently, we had Scorpion King.
Oh, that's true. Scorpion King.
That's on my list.
Okay. I forgot about Scorpion King, but yes, Scorpion King's up there.
Yeah.
That was the debut of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in a leading role. So there's that. That's a cool movie as well. But then, in 2004, we had National Treasure.
Yeah, buddy.
Was that 2004?
Somewhere around there.
National Treasure with Nicolas Cage. That's an awesome movie. In fact, everyone our age loves that movie without exception. Mm-hmm. So there's that. It's a great movie. And then in 2005, we have the movie we're talking about today, Sahara. Matthew McConaughey, Steve Zahn, Rainn Wilson, Penelope Cruz, William H. Macy. What a bop this movie is.
I would like to add one more movie to that list.
Okay.
The Legend of Zorro.
Oh, okay.
With Antonio Banderas.
Okay, yeah. So, like, all those movies fit in that category of, like, adventure movie ripoffs that are actually great and really fun. And we'll probably do an episode for each of these.
Honestly,
but today we're talking about Sahara because it's near and dear to both of our hearts. Mm-hmm. Give us a plot rundown, Joe.
Okay, so in this movie, we're following Penelope Cruz. She works for the CDC or who? WHO. And they're finding out all these people in this
That stands for wow. And then two other words. I didn't have time to think. I should have thought about it, but I figured if I waited too long to make a joke, you wouldn't remember I was making a WHO joke anymore. So I just jumped in and hoped I would think of something. Yeah. That stands for wow. Here's Ocean.
Because, funny enough, there is Ocean in this movie.
And that's where Matthew McConaughey is. Yes. He runs out of the ocean to save her.
Yes, because they find out, Who finds out that they're...
Wait, who does?
The Who. Pete Townsend.
Pete Townsend finds out that Matthew McConaughey is with Penelope Cruz.
Did you know Pete Townsend produced The Iron Giant?
Who? Wait, did he really?
Yeah.
Did you know Brad Bird directed The Iron Giant?
Who?
Brad Bird, the guy that made The Incredibles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
That movie's incredible. I love that movie.
No pun intended.
Yes, it was. So we follow Penelope Cruz and... Gosh, World Health Organization notices that these people in this African village are getting sick from drinking the water, so they have to figure out what on earth is happening.
I will say, I completely forgot about this because there are like 6 plots in this movie, all crammed into one, all happening simultaneously.
It's honestly a mess, but it's so good.
A mess. It's so good. Yeah, so that's how it starts. Continue.
Yeah. Well, they find out. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out how on earth they relate to each other.
No, here's the basics of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Matthew McConaughey is an archaeologist like Indiana Jones. It's based on a book series by, what's his name? The author that everybody knows.
Tom Clancy.
The other one who's like him. Michael Crichton.
John Clancy.
Is it Michael Crichton?
I don't
know. Maybe it's not. Anyway, the point is, he plays this Indiana Jones character who's, except instead of being a land archaeologist, he's an ocean archaeologist, and so he just finds things in the ocean, like ships. Yes. And he's convinced that an ironclad from the Confederate States of America in the Civil War drifted out of the Mississippi River into the Atlantic Ocean and wound up in Africa.
Yes.
And everyone calls him a crackpot theorist, but he says it's true. I know that this ship full of gold Confederate doubloons is somewhere in the Sahara Desert.
Yes.
Hence the name Sahara. Right place, wrong time. There we go. And then the point is, him and his friend Steve Zahn, who's also an archaeologist, they go to look for this ship in Africa, and they get wrapped up in an African Civil War.
Yes.
Which is kind of cool because they're like Civil War historians of the American Civil War.
Yeah. And
then they get wrapped up in this African Civil War, and they take down a warlord in the process of finding this ship.
Yeah. So it turns out that both of these people's storylines are intertwined because in the process of trying to figure out both of these things, they wind up figuring out that this giant company is like dumping toxic waste or whatever.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
So they find out, that's why people are poisoned in the river. And then these people are like, well, they know about our toxic dumps. So let's go murder them.
Speaking of toxic dumps,
today's sponsor
is
Taco Bell.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Whatever dumb poop joke.
Joke.
They're running from this giant corporation. It's like, they're going to kill us and blow us up with a helicopter. And in the process of trying to run from them, they find the ironclad ship in the
Sahara Desert full of gold doubloons.
Yes.
And then there's a happy ending, same as, you know how at the end of National Treasure, it just shows like their mansions and Ferraris.
Yeah.
Just to be like, look, it all paid off.
Happy ending.
Yeah.
Hee-haw.
Same kind of thing here. Dude, I love this movie. It's so dumb and it's so fun.
Yeah.
This is what I want more movies to be like.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
I'm halfway through Nomadland right now with Frances McDormand. Mm-hmm. One of the best actresses of all time. She's great. I also realized listening back to these episodes that I say greatest blank of all time a whole lot. And the reason why is that my opinion is objective fact. So if you were ever wondering.
And subject
to change. No, anyway. That's a good movie, right?
Yeah.
But it's trying too hard to say something. You know? Like there's a clear message and it's real artsy and slow and sad. I don't want that. I want Matthew McConaughey to blow up an ancient battleship and find gold doubloons and live happily ever after. I wish more movies were like adventure movies of the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And, just didn't take themselves so seriously. That's all.
You know what I like about the ending of the movie, whenever they finally find the ship, was by complete happenstance.
Yes.
They had run into a dead end.
All the plots come together into one climax by accident.
Yes.
And, can we just note that the cannons on the ship are still working and they use them to shoot down helicopters?
Yeah, after
like a fleet
200
of helicopters and an army. They fend off an army, an African warlord's army, who also happens to be in the employ of some corporation who's dumping toxins. I don't know. It all ties together.
Yeah, I forget.
And then they win.
Yeah, they win. Yeehaw.
Also, I thought William H. Macy was going to turn out to be a bad guy.
I remember you noting that.
Because I rewatched this movie with Caitlin for the first time in years, and she was like, "Oh, he's going to be a bad guy." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." Because I thought that too. I hadn't seen it in forever, but no, he doesn't. He just gives off the vibe of a character who would turn out to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
And theoretically hire someone to kidnap his wife, and then she accidentally dies in the process, and there's snow everywhere, and the wood chipper.
Featuring Frances McDormand.
Hey, everything ties together.
Yeah.
So, and what else? What else about Sahara? What do you love else about this movie? Steve Zahn?
Yeah, honestly, the characters mesh really well together. Like the actor chemistry is just really spot on.
That was my favorite class in high school. Actor chemistry. Actor chemistry.
No, stop. Die yourself.
All right.
Blue.
Ooh, Tobias joke. Continue.
Yeah, and yeah, I think that added on to the fact that it was honestly just a really funny movie. There were just so many
it's
jokes
hilarious.
that
Steve
were
Zahn's
really
character
good.
is so funny.
Yeah,
he still makes me laugh out loud. Also, can we just talk about this for a second? To me, Gal Gadot gives off strong Penelope Cruz energy. In that she's not really a good actor, but she's like attractive and foreign, and so she gets cast in a ton of things.
Yeah,
Gal Gadot is the Penelope Cruz of our era. That's all. I just connect them in my brain. That. Yeah, I was thinking this as we were watching Justice League Snyder Cut, and they have the whole exposition dump where Gal Gadot's reading this exposition, and it just kind of takes me out of it because she's not really that great of an actress. I don't think, but I like her as a person and her movies, and I think she's cool. I just don't know that. I don't know. Sometimes she her line delivery takes me out of it, and that's how I feel about Penelope Cruz in this movie. Yeah.
Love the movie.
Love it.
Good stuff.
Joe, give this movie a number.
I'm gonna try and be. I'm trying not to make my nostalgia play too much into this.
No, Joe, this is not qualified. It's you have to be as subjective as possible.
Oh, you're right.
So let your nostalgia run wild and give this as high of a ranking as you want. 1 is the best movie you've ever seen. 100's the worst. Where does this fall?
9.
Okay, I'll give it a 13.
Yeah,
nice.
I love this movie.
It's
one of those like guilty pleasure movies where like I know people probably don't like this movie.
Yeah,
but I don't care.
You call it a guilty pleasure, but it's obviously not that guilty because you're just talking about it for 15 minutes and broadcasting it to the world.
You're right. So suck on those eggs, homie.
Put that on my gravestone. See you next time.